Good morning, students. Welcome to the class again. In today's class, we are going to sum up the entire story that we had been taking in the last two classes, Dr. Heidegger's experiment by Etienne Hawthorne. If you have attended both the classes, you must have known by now that it is a difficult story which deals with the psychological impact of the characters that are focused and talked about in the story. To again summarize the story for you, since it is a difficult story in terms of understanding and a long one, let us begin with the story as Hawthorne has put it. When the story begins, we are acquainted with four people, four friends, a connection to the past, and according to the writer, these four people have been brought for one single purpose. And the purpose is that their common friend Dr. Heidegger wishes to conduct an experiment which requires the assistance of all these four people. Now, who are these four people? These four people are three men and a woman, namely Mr. Medbourne, Colonel Killigrew, Mr. Gascoigne, and Widow Wycherley. A little bit about all these four people is that once upon a time, all these four people had been powerful and successful in their youth, but because of some vices, because of some folly, they had ended up in a present which was full of misery, which was full of trauma, which was full of pain, and which was full of difficulties. Mr. Medbourne had been a good and a prosperous merchant. Because of some incorrect decision that he had taken, he had suffered huge losses in his business. Colonel Killigrew was in the army and he had indulged in all sorts of vices when he was young, and the result of all those vices was that in the present he was suffering from different pain, the pain of the gout and all that stuff. Mr. Gascoigne was a ruined politician, and Widow Wycherley, it is believed, or it is narrated by the writer, had been very beautiful when she was young, but because of the scandalous stories attached to her character, she was living in a present which was a present of seclusion and loneliness. Now, there is one common thing about all these four people is that all these four people were connected to each other from the past to the present. And it is being told in the story that there was a time when all these three young men were so much madly in love with Widow Wycherley that they were on the point of cutting each other's throat just to have her hand. Now, the second important part of the story that we have discussed is the study of Dr. Heidegger, which is a unique and a curious place. What makes us unique and curious is that it has a closet which is with its door ajar, and inside the closet is a skeleton, hanging skeleton, and it is believed that the spirits of deceased parents live inside that particular closet. The second important part of the study is that it has a bust of Hippocrates, and it is believed that Dr. Heidegger is in consultation with this bust whenever he has some medical problem. The third interesting part of the study is that on one side of the wall is a huge portrait of a lady in the faded silk and brocade, and this lady is the lady whom Dr. Heidegger wanted to marry, but because of some imbalance, because of some psychological problem, she had swallowed one of her lover's prescription, that is the doctor, and she died on the day of her marriage. Now, the most important part of the study is a huge book which is called the Book of Magic. And why is this book special? Because it is believed that when once a cleaning woman was trying to lift that book up, suddenly the skeleton in the closet started rattling. The portrait of the lady, it stepped 1 foot forward, and the bust of the Hippocrates said "Forbear." So with these two things in the background, we proceed further in the story. And as we proceed further, all the four friends are seated around a table, and before them is placed a beautiful vase which is filled with some kind of a liquid. Now, Dr. Heidegger demonstrates the magical qualities of that particular liquid into the vase by taking up a flower which had been kept in the book for almost 50 years. He picks up that dry and withered flower and he dips into that vase which has the magical liquid. And lo and behold, the flower of 50-year-old, which has been dry and withered, again resumes and takes back the same color and hue that it once bloomed some many years back. Now, all the four people who had been invited for this experiment are completely flabbergasted, and they are totally taken in by this kind of a delusion that is happening before their eyes. They're not able to believe that this is true. And then the doctor says that, okay, the experiment is that I want to see you drink this magical liquid and pass again through the youth that you had once left. And he says that there's only one caution that I issue regarding this particular experiment is that whatever mistakes you committed when you were young, I do not want you to commit the same mistakes again. The experiment is unfolded, the glasses, the champagne glasses are placed before the four friends, and 1, 2, 3, they consume the water in gulps, speedily wanting the change to take place in their body and their mind. They quickly want to get young again. Hawthorne has very beautifully portrayed the transformation that takes place in all these four people. And remember, the transformation is not physical transformation that he talks about, but the transformation that takes in the mind of all these four people. Their earnestness, their quickness to get back to their youth. Very beautifully expressed in words by Hawthorne. The four people reach again to their youth. And I'll pick a few lines from the text and tell you. There are lines in which Hawthorne says, the next moment the exhilarating gush of young shot through their veins. They were now in the happy prime of their youth. Age, with its miserable train of cares and sorrows and disease, was remembered only as the trouble of a dream from which they has joyously woken. So what was age to them? Age to them was a bad dream. And they had woken up into a new world which was young, which was full of liveliness, which was full of happiness. And they started shouting, we are young, we are young, we are young. All of a sudden they felt as if they have again become 25 to 30 years old. And once they get young, despite the warnings issued by Dr. Heidegger that do not repeat the mistakes that you have committed when you were young, they keep on mocking the old age of Dr. Heidegger. And not only mocking the old age, there are few lines in the text that suggest that the love that had bloomed many years back was back again when they turned young. I'll read out a few lines so that it is demonstrated well. But they were young. Their burning passions proved them. Inflamed to madness by the coquetry of the girl widow, who neither granted nor quite withheld her favors, the three rivals began to interchange threatening glances. Now these are the lines which say that when all these four people became young, they started putting hands around each other's waist and they started jumping and hopping and, feeling happiness all around. As they struggled to and fro, the table was overturned and the vase dashed into 1,000 fragments. Now what happens? The youthfulness, the happiness, the rivalry that all they were experimenting and they were exhibiting finishes immediately when in this struggle to capture the girl widow, in the struggle to take hand of the fair lady which was among them, the vase placed on the table shatters and the water which was there into that is on the ground. And slowly, slowly, slowly the magic vanishes. The flower that once grew as beautiful as it was 50 years ago again started getting dry and dull and withered. The old, the young, and now not so young, and now again the old people, they started feeling the age creeping upon them. Hawthorne writes, his guest shivered again. A strange chillness, whether of the body or the spirit they could not tell, was creeping gradually over them all. They gazed at one another and fancied that each fleeting moment snatched away a charm and left a deepening furrow where none had been before. So what was youth a few moments ago had again turned into old age. And now they were more perplexed and they were more traumatic because they could feel that age coming onto them, and it seems as if though the earlier old age had put few scars and furrows on their face, the second coming of the old age had put more of furrows and more of scars, and they lament, they cry in sorrow, are we grown old again so soon? So soon implies that they did not want that magic to effervesce, they did not want that magic to vanish. They wanted to stay the way they are, forgetting that it is nothing but a delusion. Hawthorne explains in the story, when then these four people are dancing together, assuming them to be young, the mirror on the wall reflects three men, old men, fighting for the beauty of a skinny grandma. So that was the truth which cannot be changed. But these people are incorrigible. They believe that they can again set out, venture out in the search for the water of the fountain of youth, which is going to keep them perennially young. They learn nothing from their mistakes. They learn nothing from the magic that has been given to them, the moments of glory that had been given to them by Dr. Heidegger. Had they utilized going back to the youth in a positive manner, they could have done wonders to themselves, but they did not. They committed the same mistakes that they had once committed when they were young. So Hawthorne here basically in the story expresses and talks about the human nature which is incorrigible. Incorrigible in the sense that these people from youth to old age and from old age to youth, they again dream of becoming young, and they plan to go out in the search of the fountain of youth. So such is Dr. Heidegger's experiment, which the doctor wanted to have a success by having a behavioral change in these four people, which did not happen. So the interpretation can be that Dr. Heidegger experiment failed. He wanted a positive change, which he could not have in these four people. So this much so for the story Dr. Heidegger's experiment. In tomorrow's class, we will take up a small bio note of the author and also the summary of the story in detail. Thank you, students.